Hi there guys, welcome back. What we're gonna start now is working on the next stage, which is actually start putting the images together, the models inside, and then just producing the 3D images. Um, uh, just start with, I'm gonna go quite fairly quickly in terms of the ins and out of RenderMan, because we have covered this several times. There's plenty of resources online to find out how to do this, but I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of how I put this together. But just to give you a quick recap, so what we've done is we created a camera, we put the table. At the moment, the table has a default material, I believe. It has just a Lambert. Just remember what I mentioned at the beginning, because we're using RenderMan, we should be using RenderMan materials for this, okay? So if you're gonna be texturing your stuff in packages like Substance Painter, Substance Designer, you should have the ability to use the Pixar Disney material. Okay, so probably you can just use that as it is, but you have pretty much two materials here inside RenderMan. You got the Pixar Surface and you got the Pixar Disney. Okay, the Pixar Disney principal shader is the one that is sort of based from the a paper that was released a few years ago, and pretty much since then, because it was quite simplified, pretty much all the software in the industry adopted a model to produce these sort of PVR rendering shading system. In particular, Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 is the material system derived directly from the Pixar principal shader. And that was a dry that was a few years ago, because like I told you in the past, a few years ago, renderers, they used to have a shader per particular item. For example, if you wanted to create glass, you will have a shader that does glass. If you want to create metallic things, you will have a shader for that. And then things got really complicated, because you had to handle a lot of variables. But now, by introducing a single material, like an Uber material that does everything, that should it's pretty much a way to go, because you don't have to worry about things like what settings do you need to do for a particular material and what not to. So for this one, you can create anything pretty much. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some of them I'm gonna assign a Pixar Surface, and some of them I'm gonna assign it a Pixar Disney. Okay, especially when I wanna bring in that valve thing that I was showing you from the past. So for the floor here, I'm just going to add a Pixar Surface. All you have to do is just select this and just click on this. By doing this, you automatically assign the Pixar Surface for you automatically, like this. So you have the Pixar Surface 2 here, which is the one that is automatically assigned. If you want to individually assign the actual Pixar Disney, you have to select that and then right-click on this little arrow in the corner, and then select deliberately the Pixar Disney. But if you render this as it is, if you hit the button render, you should have, let me pick up from the other side the image, you should have something like this, okay, which is pretty much just like a typical Lambert. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel this. Okay, just as a reminder that what I told you, that when you don't have any lights in the scene, either Maya or Pixar, and this light, the renderer of Maya automatically put one light for you, which is a front light from the camera, lighting everything forward. But we need to use our own RenderMan light for this. So you can find that setting in here. You can disable that setting if you go here into Common, all the way to render option. You have this here, enable default light. If you have this on, then you will always see something. As soon as you put a light here, a RenderMan light, it automatically, this is bypassed. Okay, so there will be nothing to do there. It will be pretty much ignored. Okay, so but for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that sort of Jaguar thing that we've been looking at in the past. So I think I put it in the project as well. It's in the data folder. So if you go here into File, and then you go into Import, and then it should be here in the whatever that, but data folder, and that's Jaguar low. So I'm just gonna open that, and I'm just gonna scale it up here. That's the one that pretty much we've been using throughout the whole semester. So I'm just gonna go here, and I'm just gonna twist it around like that, and I'm just gonna put just one for now. I'm not gonna complicate my life now. So at the moment, everything looks very blocky. If you wanna make it smooth, just select that, and then press Mesh Displays, and then soften the edges, and everything will be smooth. So again, this one has a material by default, okay, which is default material. It's a Lambert pretty much. If you render this, you will see it in RenderMan, but it will not be using the actual RenderMan shade. It will be using a sort of pseudo translation from the Lambert. So let's hit render so you can have a look. So you can see this is pretty much the Lambert as it is, and it's a translation. So, and again, you can see the front light from the left hand side, just light as you can see something. Okay, so if you, I'm gonna cancel that. Let's give it a second because it takes a little bit of time to cancel this. So if you wanted to add a material to this, you had to select this guy here and just select either the pixel surface, or you can just click here and, well, in this case it's assigning it automatically, I think. Yeah, pixel. I'm gonna undo that, and then I'm just gonna go here, right click on this edge, and then just put a pixel Disney to that. You can see the pixel Disney is assigned to it, which is this one. For some reason it keeps the original Lambert there, but if we render with RenderMan, you automatically bypass this and use this. So if we hit render, now you should see that that's the pixel surface shader, like pixel Disney material. So here you can see, no, that's Lambert. Here you can see that that's the default color there, but you will start seeing things here that are quite typical for you. For example, like the base color, you change the color and where you appears here. The emit color, if you want to have an emission map, you can connect it here. Subsurface, if you put this all the way to 1 and we hit render, and it will go dark because is the surface, they have the no subsurface color, but this is if you want to create wax and things like that. So that's because the subsurface color, I forgot to change it to color. So the moment you say it's gonna be subsurface, and then here I'm gonna put a little bit of color in there so you can start seeing something, and then you can see that this is pretty much mimicking something that is quite waxy, and then it's passing light through. So you can see here that's what you see, that sort of translucency here. But obviously you have to tweak in order to make it look like something you want to. But probably if you put green color, you might start seeing it. But anyway, so I'm just gonna, it's actually trying to use material that are translucent, like wax skin and things like that. But I don't think I told you. I think I advise you against that because of the fact that it's a bit more complicated to make it look right. So metallic, you know all this now. So metallic, if you want to make something look metallic, all you have to do is pump all the way up to 1, and as soon as you render, it will treat this as metallic. You can see now that the highlight is tinted with the color, and that's the main reason what something looks metallic or not according to the PBR. You can see this is before. Here, before, you see the highlight is white. It means that it's a dielectric. As soon as you turn metallic, it says, hey, that color that diffused, now it's going to be the color that you tint the highlight. And as the highlight gets this little tint, so that will make it look metallic. So I explained to you the theory behind PBR, so you all know that. So again, you can, by doing this, you would take this color and then it will make the highlight white, which means dielectric. So specular, more specular, less specular. Roughness, we talked about this. If you want to make something really rough, you pump this towards 1. And you see everything looks quite rough. It's still a little bit of reflection, but it's very subtle. And if you want to make things like mirror-like reflections, for example, you want to turn this into sort of like metal kind of I don't know, chrome or something. I'm just gonna knock this down to no diffuse. I'm gonna make it metallic. I'm gonna make it not very rough, towards 0, and then let's hit render, and we have this. 1 second. So I think it's emission color, base color, so surface metallic. So let's make this white. So pretty much take the color white. Okay, so I want to render that, and you can see now it's like mirror-like. Okay, the reason it's black like that is because there is nothing around in this scene to reflect from. So, and we don't have a light as well from RenderMan. But anyway, so we're going to fix that in a minute. So remember what we said, if we make this metallic, then the reflection will be automatically from the color, from the base color. In this case, white. When I make gold, all you have to do is put a little bit of a yellowish color here, like that. And then when you render, then you will say, hey, this stuff is metallic. Now get the color from the the color reflection will be taken from the actual color, base color. Okay. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to put an actual RenderMan light. So you can do that by going to create, going to light, and then here you got the option of adding your own lights. Okay, so here, well, for some reason you don't have the lights here. Redshift. This is my Redshift because I got Redshift here installed in my computer. But these are not actual RenderMan light. These are what is it called? These are normal Maya lights. So I don't know why not here, but I think because I updated to 23.2. But you can easily fix that by just right clicking on this little edge here and you can actually select them. Probably that's the new thing on the new version probably. So what we need is just a quick rundown here. You got a rectangular light. You can create a rectangular light with this. You can create this light. These are pretty much the same. Distant light mimics the sun. Sphere light, an actual 3D sphere, and a cylinder light to mimic things like light bulbs and things like that. So you got here as well in this one. You got the pixel dome, and the portal lights. That's more advanced. In the environment. The pixel environment date light, that it connects an actual dome light with a directional light automatically in one go. Similar to the automatic lighting system that you see in Unreal Engine as soon as you open the default scene. So I'm gonna put here the dome light. Okay, and the dome light, pretty much what it is a color white firing from all directions, and it makes everything quite flat and even. So I'm gonna render that. Okay, and you can see now now looks a little bit like gold, but obviously you need to be tweaking. Just put a color there. This dark bit here, we're gonna fix that later on, so don't worry about that for now. So you can see as long as we put whatever color we put in the actual base color, if we say that is metallic, then the reflections are tinted with a color following the PVR guidelines. Okay, so we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just one more thing before I open the scene where I have all the lights set up is that this section here, when we render, we don't want to see the actual. Okay, pixel dome. Yeah. Okay, as soon as I added the pixel dome, then the dome it bypass everything. If you want to see the dome, you have to do is select the dome and then tell them to be not primary visibility off, so it will be lighting everything, but it will not visible in the viewport, so you can see things around here. Now we don't want to see the floor as well, so the floor, whatever floor you have, if you want to only capture the shadow, you have to select this and then hit this button here, which is the hold out button. By doing that, it sort of goes transparent, and all what it does, it goes into the shape here, goes into the render stat, and then tick this box for you. So when you hit render, it will automatically use that as a shadow catcher. You can see you catch the shadows, but it will not be visible in the viewport. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the scene that I have with all the settings, all the panthers open here using the other material, this one, which is up to you. You want to use this, but when you want to do things texture, you probably want to use this one, which is the Pixar Disney. So you can follow the same conventions from Substance Painter and Substance Designer, and obviously Unreal Engine 4. So it will be probably easier for you than actually. If we use this material, then things get a bit more complicated. But just to keep it simple, I'm trying to use this one for now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open that file here, and that file, what it is I'm gonna open, which is the one that I did. So it'll be week 2. Yeah, this one, just to have a quick review. So I'm gonna save this, and there you go. So here we have all the Panther. This Panther has the Pixar, the surface, and we apply some presets using this the preset browser that I told you how to do. And then back here, if we analyze, what we did is we put a lights, sort of rectangular lights, to sort of mimic the light that we have in the classroom, which are those lights on top. It would be there's no set rule for this. It would be a matter of just eyeballing it. And I have this, and I have this little light in the back here, which is with a little bit of a blue tint. I put that light to I think I tweaked the advance. Where is it? Did I tweak the contribution? Let me see. Enable focus, emission, diffuse amount is okay. And no, this one is interfering with the diffuse and the specular as well. I put a dome light, and that dome light, what I did was I attached the original JPEG image. Okay, and that JPEG image, which is just to get the reflections. We talked about that in class. And we tell them here to uncheck the primary visibility, and we told them in refine only to use to create reflections. So we put the reflection amount to 1 and the diffuse amount to 0, which means that this light will only contribute to getting reflections on these materials, but nothing to do with the actual lighting. So it will not interfere with the actual lighting, so it doesn't cast shadow or anything. It will only be for reflections. Okay, so I'm just going to look through that camera again. I'm just going to hit a render button, and you can see what we have. So have a look, and you can see this is pretty much what we have so far. We had the lights, we got the reflections, nice specular going all the way down around there. So I'm gonna show you in a minute. So probably we're gonna leave it to the next part. Is we're gonna put the actual valve system that I told you about, that I did, and we're gonna go through quickly all the settings that I did in order to make it work. We covered this in class, and that was pretty much the setup that we did with Substance Painter. Okay, so yeah, so that what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you a little bit of that setup, Substance Painter. We're gonna just walk you through the settings of how we set it up, but we're not gonna exactly do it one-to-one, because obviously this is just a recap. And I think that's it for now, guys. I think this is what we're gonna cover so far in this part, and then the next part, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open the one with the valve, and I'm gonna open Substance Painter, and I'm gonna show you all the settings that I did there. And I'm probably gonna use the old texture that I have for the original, so you can have a look how I set it up. Okay, all right, guys. That's it for now. Thank you very much. All right, bye bye.